Hi, everyone. It's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And joining me today is Roberta Lee. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Certainly, it is so great to have you here. So, I want to kick this all off by having you introduce yourself to our viewers and give us a little bit about your background.
Okay, well, I am Roberta Lea. I'm a singer-songwriter and producer from Norfolk, Virginia. Recently, I resigned from my job. I used to be a teacher, and I decided to resign and pursue music full time. This was my pandemic pivot that a lot of people have been going through, just deciding that life is too short and to roll the dice and take a chance. And so I am in my very first year of being a full-time artist.
Amazing, amazing. And how has that been, being taking a risk like that, really jumping in and making it what it is? What's it been like so far this year?
When it's interesting because when you set the intention and you say, and you just decide and you just say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I didn't have everything figured out. I'm not, on a label. I don't have this huge team and management. All I had was my songs and the
Mhm.
belief in me. And so when I just finally decided, because I've been doing music for years now, like I give away my age, but 20 years since I was a teenager. I picked up
Wow.
picked up, I used to play the violin in school, and then you pick up the
Mm,
guitar, pick up the piano. So I've been dabbling in music for a really long time. And I did the bare minimum to
mhm.
satisfy that itch. But after
But
a
now
while,
you want it.
yeah,
Yeah,
after a while, it
you
just got
want it
bigger and
now.
bigger. And that's like as soon as you decide, it's like things just started happening. It just started flowing.
That
So
is amazing. That is
yeah.
amazing. Well, tell me, what are the things? You're a singer-songwriter. So tell me about some of the things that inspire you when you get to put pen to paper to
Hmm.
create, that piece of art, that new song. What are the kind of themes that you usually like to explore and what really inspires you?
A lot of things that inspire me is usually like the moment that I'm living in. There's all kinds of ways you can write creatively. You can write from fantasy, you can write from real life, you can write, from all kinds of different perspectives. So I'm always writing from literally from a particular moment that touches me. I'm just like,
Yes.
and my brain says I'm going to write about that. So my EP, yeah, all 6 songs on my new EP, Just a Taste, literally are inspired by like those moments in life where I'm just like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's it. That's it.
I love that. I love that. What was the process like creating Just a Taste and getting it all together, being in the all of that? What was that process like and how fulfilling was it for you?
Oh man. Well, when I quit when I quit my job, um, uh, like I said, things start to kind of when you make that into just things start to happen. And so one of the things
Mhm.
that happened is the Black Opry. Shout out to Holly G and all of my fellow artists on the Black Opry. But she started that in April last year. It's not even a year old yet.
Yeah.
And it was just a blog. And so she invited some of the folks, some of the Black artists that she started following. She said, hey, why don't you guys come to Americana Fest in Nashville? And so I said, yeah, I got my ticket, got my place to stay, made my way to Nashville, and they created the Black Opry House. Shout out Marcus Dowling,
Mhm.
the Black Opry House, where everyone gathered and began to share our songs with one another. And that was the first time I felt like there was a place in the community for me
Mhm.
because I always wrote country songs. I wrote just as many country songs as I did R&B, as I did anything else, but I didn't sing them because I didn't know where where I would belong, where do I belong in country. Um, and so at the Black Opry House, I sang Sweet Baby Ray. In our
Mm.
writers round, I sang Sweet Baby Ray. And there was just a collective assault on me to get that song done. And they were like, if you don't release this music now, right? And that was kind of the vibe after.
'Cause Nashville is really like a music town, a music city, and it must have been just so great being there, immersed in that. everyone around you. That's what it's giving. And especially you leaving, a part of your life behind to really get deep into this. This was the best and the greatest way to just dive in head first.
Straight first. Go straight head first, straight in.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So when you look into the future, continuing on this journey, what are some of the hopes that you have that you'd like to share with us about some of the hopes for your career, for your music, for people consuming your music? What are some of those hopes that you have?
Well, one thing I always say is I'm like, if Beyonce ever decides to do a country album, because she's country, okay, she's from Texas. So I'm like, if she, and that Daddy Lessons was like
yes,
everything. It was everything. So I always said if Beyonce is ever doing a country album, I would love to write on that. Then I also like to get into blending my education background and songwriting, and I would love to maybe create like a songwriting academy. I've been working on an online course. I have done a few field trips, like adult songwriting field trips for my creative writers in the area. We've gone to different places and used different parts of the community to inspire them. And so I would really like to expand on that side of me, just being a good songwriter and combining that to with my teaching skills, and create an academy that's affordable for people to attend, and that really brings value to them and being able to express themselves in the creative writing craft. So
awesome. That is so great. Well, talk to me about, because you mentioned you have started singing and playing and all of that since you were a teenager. Talk to me about back then. What was it about music that really wanted to make you get involved? Were there parents, teachers, whomever that encouraged you in that way, or was it something that you discovered on your own and really fell in love with?
So the bare minimum of my music journey was, elementary school, I played violin, right? And at the time I learned that I played by ear. Reading, you could learn how to read, but it came very natural to me to just hear the song and repeat it. Then once I got to high school, I started going to church, which a lot of people, in music kind of get their start. And I feel like the reason why, even though we don't really go to church anymore, the reason why it's important is because it's a place where there's so much room for error. You can be off key and they're like, praise the Lord. Amen. Sing.
They're gonna live what? Yes.
Leave so much space for error and just trying and figuring it out. And so when I was a teenager, that's when I picked up. Someone showed me like 2 chords on the piano, and that's all I needed. So this piano and then guitar, and then I joined a band. And they would do music on Saturday nights, and they put a lot of emphasis on doing original tunes. And so that's where I got my start, and it became so easy to me.
Yes,
it would just come out of nowhere, and like I said, it was out of the moment, out of experience, out of someone saying, a phrase. It's like, ooh, that's a good phrase, those different things started to happen, and so it's just very second nature to me.
I love that.
That's where it kind of started to bloom.
Great. So if you were going to give advice to anyone who they are about to bloom, they're starting to bloom, they have an interest in music, what advice would you give to a young person who is looking to make their way into music?
Find community. You don't have to do it on your own, but you don't have to sell your rights away either. A lot of people talk about that, the more education we're getting on the music industry and how predatory it can be, and signing contracts and record labels, and some things work out great and some things not so much. And so people can get overwhelmed with assuming that they have to give themselves away to a record label or management or something like that. And that may not necessarily be the key. Sometimes it's just finding a community of artists, a community of people who have you guys are like-minded in what you want to do.
I lost her.
Oh, I lost you too.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Because I was used to seeing you nod, and I was like, is he frozen? Okay. But But it would just to be to find community, find people who are like-minded. They don't have to sign the contracts right away and give away themselves so
Yes.
early, especially young. You know what I mean? Just find community, find a handful of artists
Mm-hmm.
that you guys rock with and do this journey together. You guys can get a lot farther together than by yourself. So
Well, that is amazing. Community is so important in any field that you're trying to go into.
absolutely.
So, if anyone watching wants to keep up with you, keep up with your music, get your music, follow what you're doing, how can they go about and do that?
Oh, well, they could find me on social media. I am Roberta Lea, spelled Lea. And I am robertalee.com. But
Mm.
if you find me on Twitter, on Instagram, I have a link tree at the top that just shows you all the action, everything that's going on, the music videos that are dropping, the anything else that's coming out. And yeah, that's how they can find me.
Awesome, awesome, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Roberta, for being with me today. It has been such a pleasure, and
Absolutely.
I wish you
Absolutely.
the best of luck on your wonderful, fabulous journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And to our viewers, please follow Team Racing. Well, you can follow me. And to find out more about Racing, you can go to racing.com and please follow Team Racing Productions on all forms of social media. Like, comment, subscribe, and most of all, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.
Bye.